You are Locked On 76ers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi, welcome. This is a little program we like to do called Locked On 76ers Postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And for those listening on the podcast, welcome in. My name is Mark Farzetta, and that second half sucked. Paul George, major disappointment for your 10-9-8 76ers. Tyrese Maxey, 28 points that were legit. He made that three at the end of the game. Whatever. I'm not going to rain on that parade. He actually showed up a little bit tonight. Kelly Oubre certainly showed up tonight. It was great to have him back in the lineup. Guerschon Yabusele was forced into the starting lineup again today to be the Sixers starting center. And Dembona even ended up getting first quarter minutes tonight. But when I saw Joel Embiid was going to miss this game tonight with not knee management, not a nasal contusion, or not contusion, fracture is what it was. Yeah, that's the ticket. Not with that, but with a left foot sprain. I went, hey, this is not a back-to-back. But yet, he's going to miss this game tonight due to a left foot sprain. Kevin Durant, the Phoenix Suns, who are, no way, they're playing well below their talent level, I think, to this point this season, without question. But they're going to play that game back home, their first time in weeks back home. And Joel Embiid is going to miss that game because he's got a left foot sprain. Now, look, I have been banging the drum for Joel Embiid as far as the first half of the season, quote unquote, doesn't really matter all that much. It's all about what happens in the second half of the season and really around the All-Star break and right after the All-Star break, it matters. But not a chance to tough this one out. Not a chance, especially when he's been playing really well over his last 5 games. Yeah, the numbers were good out there against the Warriors. But as I said, a lot of those hollow numbers that he put up in the second half of that game, extremely hollow. And he can't play tonight. I have also been banging the drum to say that he's not soft. You can't call him soft. He can't play in the playoffs with the injury that he had last year and really be the Sixers' only chance of even making a game 6, and their only shot at what didn't happen, a game 7. But the injuries, of course, as we all know, have mounted. They're not mounting anymore. They have mounted. It's a big mountain of injuries there for Joel Embiid. And when I saw he wasn't going to be playing tonight, and when I also saw Andre Drummond wasn't going to be playing tonight, I went, well, that's not good. Now you're elevating guys or having guys that are no longer available to come off your bench, whether that be Guerschon Yabusele, whether that be Andre Drummond. I knew that the bench was going to take a hit tonight. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Paul George. We'll continue to talk about Joel Embiid and just how great it was. People have been doubting me. They have been mudslinging when it comes to my love of Kelly Oubre. Well, it was great to have him back tonight, that's for sure. But welcome in once again to Locked On 76ers Postcast and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Don't forget, your favorite podcast now is a newsletter introducing Locked On 76ers Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On 76ers newsletter. This particular episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are now upon us. And it's not too late to get into the action when it comes to FanDuel, because right now new customers can finish strong and start the postseason strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to get started. 3 big things. Number 1, Paul George. It certainly feels like he hasn't been shooting even above 40% over the last handful of days, right? But even in the month of January, which going into tonight was only 3 games, he was actually shooting 45.6% from beyond the arc. Tonight, he was 3 for 9 from beyond the arc. He was 5 for 18 shooting tonight, and he had 13 points. Paul George. That is terrible. I'd love to be like, oh, hey, 9 rebounds, because on nights, and I pointed this out before, on nights where Paul George has not been shooting well, he's gotten assists, he's gotten rebounds. Tonight, it was just a rebound, just rebounds. That's it. Hit 5 assists. Whoopity-doo. When Joel Embiid isn't playing, you cannot have Paul George go 5 for 18 from the floor. You cannot have Paul George go 3 for 9 from beyond the arc. This has got to be a hot shooting night for Paul George, and he sure as hell cannot have a 13-point performance. And I don't care that Kelly Oubre was second in command when it came to scoring the basketball behind Tyrese Maxey. I need consistent points throughout the night from Paul George. I need him to be involved in the offense when it comes to being a scorer. And he wasn't doing that at all tonight. And then you also look at the fact that he didn't make one trip to the free throw line. There was an awful turnover that Nick Nurse didn't even challenge in the early goings of that fourth quarter, I believe it was. And it went off him, and then ended up being back-to-back three-point possessions, and the Suns just kept on stretching their lead time and time again after that. And Paul George is supposed to be a guy that without Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey can lean on him. And he wasn't that tonight. And he hasn't been that. And looking over his last couple of games here, I mentioned just the 3 games in January, what you have seen from him. Shooting well from beyond the arc, again, 45%. But overall for the season, you are seeing this guy continue to struggle. 33% from beyond the arc. And compare that to last year, what he was doing from three-point land. 41% with the Clippers. That is a drastic drop-off. He hasn't shot 33% from beyond the arc since his rookie season, actually, where he shot 29%. So this is his worst three-point shooting season so far since his rookie year of 29%. This isn't the guy the Sixers signed. I mean, you're getting the production of assists and rebounds from a wing player like you can get from a guy like Paul George. But when it comes to the scoring ability and a guy that went on last year and was actually showing you what he could do from beyond the arc, as a scorer, well over 20 points per game, 22.6 points per game last year. And this year he's averaging 16.3. On a game without Joel Embiid, he needs to be dropping 20, 25 points at worst if he doesn't go off for a 30-point performance, whatever the case may be. Huge disappointment that Paul George has been so far for the Sixers. And tonight is the worst of the worst. 5 for 18 from Paul George. I can't get over it. The other thing that you look at tonight, aside from the turnovers, is just that he was getting beat to basketballs. He was just getting beat. And I remember that game, and I've harked on this so many times. I've harkened back to this so many times when I talk about the game he had. We dropped 33 points on the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, he looked healthy. Look, 33 points is great. Even if he would have dropped 20 in that game or 25 in that game, that would have been fine too, because it wasn't just about the points. It was about how he was playing. He had that spring in his step. He was quick. He was jumping lanes. He was causing turnovers. He was running down the court with speed. He was great spring in his ankles, getting up to the rim to throw it down. And really, since then, it has been a huge disappointment to watch Paul George play for the 76ers so far this season. Injuries aside, look, you could also look at him and say, oh, the second half of the season, maybe we'll turn it on. Yeah, okay. All right, well, until I get the sign that he's actually going to do that, and that he does it with consistency, okay. But him and Tyrese Maxey not being on the same page, him not being on the same page with Joel Embiid, him and Joel Embiid not being on the same page, I kind of get, because Joel Embiid's barely around. But him and Maxey have played enough together to now where I think that at least have an idea of where the other's going to be on the court. And so far, nope. So in a game like tonight where you don't have Joel Embiid, Paul George has to be one of the guys to step up. Yes, still getting a great night from Kelly Oubre, but 13 points from Paul George is inexcusable tonight. So that's the first thing that really jumps out to me. The second thing that jumps out to me, and again, some of this is explained, certainly not an excuse, but some of it's explained when you don't have Andre Drummond come off the bench, you don't have Guerschon Yabusele coming off the bench. Yabusele is elevated to your starting lineup. Kelly Oubre was in your starting lineup again tonight, which was, again, great to see him. You don't have KJ Martin available. You haven't had Jared McCain, but 7 points off the bench tonight. Adem Bona comes up with 4 points. Justin Edwards knocks down 1-3, and that's it. And those guys, Adem Bona played 11 minutes tonight. Then you get 13 minutes from Justin Edwards, and somehow he was on Kevin Durant. Hey, welcome up, rookie. undrafted rookie from the Delaware Bluecoats, go guard Kevin Durant. No biggie. Well, anyway, that didn't work out so great. But 13 minutes for him tonight, 11 minutes for Dembona. Let's do the math. 24 minutes of basketball from those guys, 7 points. 7 points. Also off the bench, Reggie Jackson, 8 minutes. Eric Gordon, 8 minutes. 4 minutes for Jeff Doughton, who again got first quarter minutes tonight because that's where we are in life. And then Ricky Council, the fourth, plays 3 minutes. None of those guys, Jackson, Gordon, Doughton, Council, nobody scored points tonight. Those 4 guys were a combined 0 for 2. Whoopity-doo! And both of them were from beyond the arc. So you're not going to win games if Paul George isn't scoring, and you have no Joel Embiid. You're not going to win games if your bench is getting outscored in this particular game tonight. Good Lord. Well, Bradley Beal is all you need to know. He had 25 points off the bench. He had one stretch there in the third quarter where he had 14 points. I believe it was in that third quarter. We'll recap that in a second. But, oh, my goodness gracious, their bench putting a wallop on your bench was inexcusable. Bradley Beal's the it factor for them coming off the bench. But let's see. Iguodaro also outscored your bench tonight with 8 points. And then you also had Monte Morris knock down a 3 and 2 field goals for 7 points tonight. So he matched your bench's total. So two guys outscored you in Bradley Beal and Iguodaro. And then another man matched you in Monte Morris. And that's not all. You also had Nurkic come off with 5 points tonight. And Okio, I can never say his name right, had 3 points off the bench tonight. So that's what the Suns bench did while your bench was being terrible at basketball. Number 3. So number 1, Paul George is terrible. Number 2, the bench was terrible. And number 3, Kelly Oubre, I love you. I have defended Kelly Oubre. I have talked about Kelly Oubre, not as if he's an all-star, not as if he's a guy that you could count on for 20 points a night or anything like that, like he was doing when he was in Charlotte. But this is a guy that can give you that spark. And today, that spark became a fire. When he was able to go out there tonight and get you 26 points, when he was able to go out there tonight midway through the third quarter and already have 20 points and 10 rebounds on the evening, finishes with 26 points, 11 rebounds, 3 of those on the offensive glass. He was fantastic tonight. He did more than his job required. What his role is supposed to be on this team, he went above and beyond. As you had Paul George not doing anything, Kelly Oubre's stock was rising as he came back tonight to come back from a calf injury. It was great to see him back out there on the court. It's great to see him announce that he'd be in the starting 5 today. I saw Keith Pompey, Inquirer.com, as well as Locked On 76ers Daily podcast with my dear friend Kayla Santiago. Saw that he was going to be in the starting 5. I went, all right, let's see what we got from Kelly Oubre tonight. And he was playing like a man possessed to start things out. I want to sing his praises a little bit more when we come back. This is Locked On 76ers Postcast and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. Back after this. Let me tell you about FanDuel and how much fun we're having on FanDuel. NFL playoffs are here. It's not too late to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W during the postseason of the NFL and also throughout the NBA regular season as well. I love betting on which players can score anytime touchdown, first-time touchdown scorer, blah, 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 all that, parlays and more, all on FanDuel. So have yourself a good time with FanDuel. Over-unders on passing yards, rushing yards, all sorts of things like that. So much more available on FanDuel as well. So just visit FanDuel.com and join today. That's FanDuel.com. Your chance to win $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So Kelly Oubre helped you get off to a solid start tonight. And actually, what was crazy was the Sixers in that first half built as much as a 14-point lead. What? Yeah. In the first half of that game, they built a nice, big, fat lead for themselves, and then they squandered it. But as part of building that lead, you had Kelly Oubre in the first quarter with about 9 minutes remaining in that first quarter, Great baseline driving dunk that opened up a Sixers 10-3 lead, just like that on the Suns, where they were forced to call a timeout. Oubre then, with about 3 minutes left in that first quarter, was able to knock down a mid-range jumper. Sixers were all of a sudden up 12 points, just like that. Oubre had 8 points in that first half to help the Sixers get started, and that was the only quarter of the night that they would actually win. Then later in the third quarter, this is where I thought things were really going to start to fall apart for the Sixers. Maxey had a fast break dunk coming out of halftime, made it 52-46. Then Kelly Oubre came down the end, got fouled, missed both free throws with 8:32 left. And I thought, this is not going to be good. Sure enough, what happened on the very next possession there for the Phoenix Suns was Kevin Durant went down the other end and threw it home to tie the game at 52 all. But Kelly Oubre, after a long drought for the 76ers where they failed to make a field goal for 3 whole minutes and allowed the Suns during that stretch to take a 72-66 lead, Kelly Oubre had 70-58 lead. Kelly Oubre had 2 on back-to-back possessions. Kelly Oubre had 2 and 1 fouls, made the layup, went to the line, made the free throw. It was a 6-0 run courtesy of Kelly Oubre individually, keeping the Sixers somewhat in the game. There was another play with about 90 seconds left in the third quarter where Maxey came up with a steal, and then you had Oubre come down the other end. He got fouled. He made both free throws. That put him at 20 points and 10 rebounds on the night with 1:30 left in the third quarter, and it made it a 72-66 game. And then Kelly Oubre, right before the end of the third quarter, knocked down that deep 3. I went back and looked, 31 feet deep with 0.01, 1/10 of a second remaining on the clock. And Kelly Oubre knocked down that 3 to make it a 6-point game. Unfortunately, the Sixers had nothing left in the early goings of that in that fourth quarter. They end up losing the third quarter. They scurried to not get completely blown out in that third quarter. They lost that third quarter by 9 points, 36-27. And then they only lost the fourth quarter by 5 points, thanks in large part to Tyrese Maxey knocking down a 3 towards the end of that. And the Sixers getting another play. I think it was Paul George knocked down another 3. Guerschon Yabusele knocked down a 3 late in that fourth quarter as well. But garbage time minutes, garbage time touchdown, that kind of thing, little too late. Too little, too late for the 76ers as that game was winding down. But for me, it comes down to the bench not being able to score. It comes down to Paul George not being able to hit big shots for this team. And it comes down to Joel Embiid not being healthy. Now the Sixers fall to 6 games under 500. The Phoenix Suns are now 2 games under 500 on the season. Sixers had no answer, by the way, defensively for Bradley Beal in that third quarter. I mentioned earlier he had 14 points or 15 points in that third quarter. It was atrocious. 14 of his 17 points in that, it would have been 14 of his 19 points in that third quarter, and it would finish with 25. That's just scary, man. Kelly Oubre tried to combat it with 12 points of his own in the third quarter, but it was the Bradley Beal show throughout that third quarter. When you don't have Joel Embiid, I guess Maxey still has to learn this part of it. There's no one slowing down the pace of play. It's almost like Guerschon will get the ball in his hands at times and things will speed up. Even Paul George, which is just inexcusable for a veteran like that and a guy who's had so much individual success in the NBA. It just feels like he's forcing the issue, knowing he's struggling. And then he falls into the famous quicksand quote of struggling so much that he just keeps sinking. Struggling so hard that he just keeps sinking. And that's what you're seeing from him. Guerschon Yabusele actually have confidence in to knock down a shot every once in a while. He went through a little cold spell between really in the second and third quarter, and then started getting with it again in the fourth quarter. But the guy you're supposed to be able to lean on here, it all comes back to Paul George. I don't expect Eric Gordon to be consistent for the Sixers off the bench. I was singing his praises the other night. If you don't have Andre Drummond coming off the bench, if you don't have Guerschon Yabusele coming off the bench, if you don't have your solid starting 5, if you don't have Caleb Martin, I didn't even see what Caleb Martin was shooting tonight. 2 for 6, 1 for, he only shot 2 threes tonight, 8 points. But if you're not getting bench help and you're not getting help from Paul George, you're not going to win a basketball game against Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and good Lord, the night that the night that Devin Booker had from the free throw line was very un-Devin Booker-like tonight. Just 3 for only 50% from beyond the arc, a 90% or better free throw shooter in his career. 1 for 5, 3 for 16 from beyond the arc, just 10 points. 3 for 16 from the field, just 10 points on the night, and the Sixers weren't able to take advantage of that, but he did have 10 assists on the evening. This is not exactly the best brand of basketball that you saw tonight from the Sixers. Defensively speaking, certainly offensively speaking, when it came to spreading the love, that's for sure. When we come back, there was one particular play there in the third quarter where I saw things really start to slip away from the Sixers, other than what ended up going. It was the fourth quarter. Other than what happened in the early goings of that third quarter, the fourth quarter, 9:45 left, that's when everything really fell apart for good for the Sixers. We'll get into that when we come back. This is Locked On 76ers postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I'm Mark Barzetta. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Back after this. Game time. You guys using the Game Time app? I love the Game Time app. Maybe you just went through the holiday season. You got yourself or got your friends, maybe your family, maybe a loved one, some tickets to a concert, comedy show, a game. Well, download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Game Time has made it so much easier to get tickets to your favorite events, whether that be a concert, a comedy show, or a live game. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Then you can use the Game Time Picks feature, which filters out all the fluff. So that way you don't waste time scrolling through literally thousands of tickets. You just go right down to it. Best seats, best prices on the Game Time app when you use the Game Time Picks feature. Toggle that feature, and you'll see the best of the best. Also, if you're looking to go to a concert or a comedy show, don't forget about the last-minute ticket deals, the flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts on the Game Time app. So let's say you don't really care about the opening act, the middle, but you want to see that headliner that you love so much. You get a great discount when you buy tickets an hour after the event on the Game Time app. And also, let's not forget about this, the all-in pricing feature on the Game Time app. You ever buy tickets and then go to check out and realize, how do these $20 tickets become $30? No. You toggle the all-in pricing feature and you see exactly what you're paying before you check out, so there's no sticker shock and no unpleasant surprise upon checkout. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use redemption code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download today. What time is it? Game time. So here's when I realized all you know what was breaking loose with your 76ers tonight. It was the 9:45 mark of the fourth quarter. The Sixers ended that third quarter with a nice long three from Kelly Oubre, almost an individual run from Kelly Oubre there in the end of the third quarter. So you're thinking, all right, Sixers only down 6 points. Let's get something happening here. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Then you had Tyrese Maxey knock down a three to open up that fourth quarter. All of a sudden, bang, bang, boom, the Sixers are only down 2 points at 78-68. Then Bradley Beal knocked down a mid-range jumper, made it a 4-point game again. And then Paul George shockingly missed a jumper. Dunn gets the rebound. Paul George gets called for a defensive 3 seconds. Devin Booker converts the technical free throw. So now it's a 5-point advantage. Caleb Martin makes 1 of 2 free throws, and then this is where things got crazy. 10:18 remaining in the fourth quarter. Sixers are now down 4 points. So not crazy, but this is where the wheels came off. 10:18, Dunn makes a 3, makes it 84-77. Paul George gets the ball. He's dribbling a little bit beyond the perimeter. I could have sworn this ball was off the hands of, I think it was Morris playing defense on him. He came up, and it looked for certain that ball got swatted out of bounds. Now, I didn't see a replay of it throughout the night. I don't think they showed one tonight. I didn't see Nick Nurse jump off the bench, but I don't know. He could have been talking to somebody on the bench and not seen it. I don't know. But there was no replay of it. And it looked like for certain a member of the Phoenix Suns swatted that ball out of the hand during a dribble. Not like Paul George was just holding the ball and it swatted out. No. During the dribble, somebody came up, looked like they swatted it out of bounds. It goes out of bounds. Referees go the other way with it and says Suns ball. They say Suns ball. I'm waiting for Nick Nurse to come running into the shot like, and he didn't. So now I'm waiting for the replay. Replay never happened. So I can only assume that the angle that we saw it on the TV broadcast was weird, and it just absolutely was off of Paul George. So either way. Again, that was after a Ryan Dunn three that made it 84-77. Paul George turns the ball over by dribbling it out of bounds is how it gets credited. Monte Morris comes up. He knocks down a three just like that. 10-point game in favor of the Suns, and they never looked back after that. Sixers in the final minutes would try to make a game of it to no avail. It was already in hand for the Phoenix Suns to win this one 109-99 and take the brief two-game series against the Sixers this season. But more of this from Kelly Oubre, please and thank you. Less of Joel Embiid being out with a left foot sprain, and less of Paul George being unable to throw the ball in the ocean. All that. Oh, yeah. And there's guys coming off the bench that can actually, help you. Just those little tweaks, and the Sixers will be right back in the win column, folks. Did they know they were back home? Did they know that? I think they were sledding all day at the Art Museum steps. In that second half in particular, they looked like a team who had no legs. They must have run up and down. I've run up and down those steps, especially when they're icy. It's dangerous, Really takes a lot out of you when you go up like 20 times. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is fun to slide down the Art Museum steps or sled down the Art Museum steps. You know what I'm saying? But it's taxing. It's taxing. Okay. Anyway, let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing on this just beautiful Monday morning. Ari, what's up, man? Rough night. Go Birds, says Ari. Hell yeah, go Birds. Hey, Jared McCain has more heart than PG-8. And he paints it. Sorry, I don't care. The painting of the nails thing, whatever. I don't care. But I hear what you're saying. Hey, Embiid wasn't at the game because he was sledding. Oh, I didn't even see this. Before I even saw your comment. I referenced the Art Museum steps, sledding on the Art Museum steps. But maybe it was. Farzy, can we fire Nurse, says Jason A? Like, if you want to talk about a guy getting the team motivated, doesn't look like he can do it. He's really good at yelling at refs, which is, again, why I was a little surprised he didn't yell at that Paul George moment. He yelled at other moments in the game. I don't know. I don't know who the Sixers all of a sudden play for. Is firing Nick Nurse going to all of a sudden make Joel Embiid healthy and Paul George not be terrible? That's my only thing. I swear we're tanking on purpose. Oh, BC's saying a Packers upset. How dare you? Jason A. Farzy, I don't see there we go. I don't see a future where this team works out. Yeah, neither do I. I mean, I've been pretty confident all season, and I'm still going to say it. Even now, what did I say? 6 games under 500, 6 games under 500. This Sixers team still makes the playoffs. But in terms of Joel Embiid winning a championship in Philadelphia, no, I don't see that. I really hope that I'm wrong, but if we're being honest with ourselves, if he can't stay healthy with the limited amount of games that he's going to play in this season, then we're doomed. Like, this is the Sixers' greatest attempt since not playing him at all his first 2 years in the NBA. This is the Sixers' greatest attempt at not playing Joel Embiid. So if he's not fresh and ready to go and played into game shape and can stay healthy while playing himself into game shape, well, then we're doomed. And guess what? We still got 5 more years of this at top dollar. Sports are fun. Wasn't the process worth it? For the people on the podcast, I just confirmed with my look to the camera that I was being sarcastic. What else do we have here? Great window from 2019 to 2023. Yeah, and then Jimmy Butler ruined it, as did Elton Brand. Jason A, well, we got all these back-to-back this month. If Embiid doesn't play half those games, we are bottom dwellers. Pretty much with Tampa. What, the Bucks? Overrated? I root for Baker Mayfield as long as I'm not playing the Eagles. Just because the Browns did him so dirty that I actually hope he has great success, just not against the Eagles. Unlike last year, where he did have good success against the Eagles, especially in the postseason, and then earlier this season when he had great success against the Eagles. But if they meet in the playoffs, I'd be pissed if he won, obviously. But other than that, I root for him. Hey, everybody in the chat, thanks so much. Sixers are going to be back at it coming up Wednesday night. They're going to take on the Washington Wizards. They are 6-27 on the season. They are not a good basketball team. And, they'll come to town Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. So I'll be with you guys then. Hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. Be back with you guys Wednesday night for another amazing edition of 76ers basketball. But no matter what, we give 110% right here on Locked On 76ers Postcast. And my feet are not sprained. Damn right they're not. And guess who was sledding today with the kids? This guy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 100% healthy. Go figure. And I'm not even in shape. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Catch you guys Wednesday night. Bye.